You have a TV?
No. I just like to read the TV guide. Read the TV guide. You don't need a TV.
Television addict! Television addict! Television addict!
Hey everyone! Wow, my voice just cracked there. I'm going through second puberty. Although maybe it's third, fourth, or fifth puberty. I don't know what's happening as I am trapped here at Reed Manor. Although I will say there are much worse places to be trapped. I essentially live in a comic book, video, book, music, record, toy store. So, there's that. I have water, I have power, plenty of food, and you to keep me company. So thank you guys for listening to the show and still being there. I know there's a lot of content out there now because people are needing that. So I appreciate you sticking around here, and I will be here every week for you and doing as much as I can. Next week, I'll be here. That's what I said. The week after that, I'll be here. Thank you guys for all the feedback I got from last week's episode with Jesse Thorne. And if you like that, you'll love this because my guest is Jordan Morris of Jordan and Jesse Go, the Max Fun Network show that they do together, which makes sense if you know what is going on here. We recorded this at Max Fun, just like I did with Jesse's episode. A lot of fun. We actually did the issue the week after Jesse's issue. I'm all mixed up, everybody. I know we all are. Oh boy. But I'm here with another episode, and I think you guys will enjoy it. If you want to email me, please do at tvguidancecounselor@gmail.com, or tweet to me at tvguidance or Kenneth W. Reed on Instagram and all that. Let me know what you're doing, how you're getting through this, what you're watching, what you're listening to, what you're reading, what you're making at home for food, and any of that stuff. I appreciate it. And yeah. So let's get on to the conversation. Pete's yelling at probably Raiders coming to get my stash of DC Comics. That's probably what they're here for. So I'm going to go attend to that. But while I'm doing that, please sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode of TV Guidance Counselor with my guest, Jordan Morris.
TV is my friend, and it has been always there for me in time of need.
Jordan, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you.
Thank you. This is my second episode done in an actual studio.
How do you feel? Is it because what's your usual setup versus this setup?
So normally I have like a Zoom and a couple of mics, and I'm like mobile,
fucking old school,
old
DIY.
School. Yeah. I'm like a roving reporter.
Right.
Like just call me Scoop. I also wear a hat that says Scoop on it when I do it, even though I'm not a newsman.
And the little card that says press, that'll get you in anywhere.
Yeah.
If people see that hat with that card, access for days.
Yeah, and I have a big camera around my chest with like one of those flashes that you have to hold separately that looks like a a squeegee.
And then when something major happens, you run into the nearest phone booth.
Yeah. I go, stop the presses.
To call your editor.
Yeah, we gotta stop the presses. I just got a podcast.
I got those pictures of Spider-Man.
Yeah,
You've been asking for.
Jameson. Yeah, that's mostly how I do it.
Wow.
Or I have a little home studio, but it's like super rinky.
No, that's great. That's the roots of podcasting.
It's true. It's true. It's I'm a purist, is what it is. I'm an evangelical podcaster.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
So this to you feels a little. Do you feel like you're a sellout in this? We're doing this at Max Fun Studios in LA.
Yeah.
Do you feel like is this Green Day playing the Forum? It's like this isn't.
It's a total
this isn't
sellout.
Gilman Street, man. What are we doing here?
Yeah. I broke my own legs to punish myself for it.
You're gonna start calling yourself a fucking narc
I'm
online.
a poser, narc. The whole thing. Yeah, sellout. Also, it was a little weird that I had to pay $250,000 check as a down payment.
But the sound is so rich.
The sound is rich, so it was a little bit of a sellout. So it was fine.
Okay.
And it's weird that they make us do it in here without clothes on.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just kind of their policy. But again, the richness of the sound.
Okay, I do just like a purity.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people will say that because, that's something people don't know about Max Fun is that all the shows are in the nude.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been saying that, it's, they're just a bunch of pervos, or a bunch of pervozoids. But again, it's all about sound quality. If you don't have the fabric kind of interrupting the sound,
Rustling ruins podcasts.
rustling's terrible, and it affects the diaphragm.
It absolutely does. Static. A lot of people don't know static electricity
Right.
will shock a diaphragm, and it's like a taser gun. Like
Yeah.
that muscle will just go dead for hours.
Exactly.
And then you all sound like the tape slowed down.
And you're cool if I jack off too, right? While we do
Me or you?
Oh, I've never been asked before. You've added a new wrinkle,
Just
sir.
being polite.
I never.
Yep.
Well, now that you mention it,
Well, I'm from Boston. That's how we do it. You know.
we jack you off while you're doing our podcast.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a lot of weird. One of my favorite.
That's a great character.
Yeah.
Boston guy who jacks you off while you're doing his podcast.
Dude, you want a hand doogie? That's what they call them.
Hand doogie.
Hand doogies.
I'll
yeah.
give you a doogie, dude,
Want a
while you're
fucking
doing my
doogie?
cast.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Well, I'll edit out like the pump shot, because like I don't want you to sound stupid.
Over there on the Patreon.
Yeah. No, I had Mark
Go to our
Wahlberg.
Patreon to hear all the cum shots. How's my Boston, by the way?
That was a little Maine-ish.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you about Maine cum shots.
Let's tell you about our Patreon.
Yeah.
You can hear us blast English.
Oh yeah, right in the
I'm
lobster
Amish.
trough. Yeah, he's a down Easter. It's given a down Easter is what it's called.
Down Easter. Yeah.
Yeah, I had Mark Wahlberg on. He's a fucking jerk, but I whacked him off and then I kicked his ass. So speaking of whacking off,
Yeah.
you picked an issue here from August 26th to September 1st, 1995. It's the week after Jesse did his, and on the cover is a lovely couple here. We have Tiffany Amber Thiessen of when she just joined the cast of 90210.
Hot off Saved by the Bell.
Hot off Saved by the
Or
Bell.
I don't know how much time had elapsed between Saved by the Bell and
Well, 92 was the last season of Saved by the Bell. The original cast and the new class had started by 95, the
Right.
superior edition of Saved by the Bell.
A lot of people say that. A lot of people say that.
Went for twice as long, better cast.
Yeah, I learned that from your show.
Yes. Yeah.
That's so funny. I don't know anyone who is nostalgic for Saved by the Bell, the new class.
Just
but,
me.
Just you.
It's me and only me.
Right.
It is a better show. I mean, they're both terrible shows.
Yeah, Saved by the Bell is so bad.
Yeah.
That was such a blow because it's such a fun thing to like remember.
Yeah.
All the tropes are so fun. It was this weird thing that like there's a monoculture element to
Yeah.
Saved by the Bell. People our age, we all watch after school or on Saturday morning, and then to go back and go, oh, like this was trash.
It was bad,
so bad.
then. Yeah. I think because it was the only thing aimed at tweens.
Right.
Which before they even had that as a term. And they used to call it
Yeah.
TNBC. They called it Teen NBC.
Oh, interesting.
It was for after the cartoons ended, and then it was such a success. They built that whole Saturday around it with like Hang Time and California Dreams and City
right.
Guys and One World. And they
City
had this
Guys.
whole thing. But it's garbage. It's a garbage show.
It's a very bad show. But I think the longevity of at least the original.
Yeah.
OSB TB.
Yep.
Original Saved by the Bell.
Yep.
The cast, Tiffany Amber Thiessen,
Decent. Yeah.
Thiessen included,
Yep.
have all had pretty long careers.
Yeah, she has a cooking show now, and she does cookbooks and
There you go. Mario Lopez is out there
Yep.
reporting for Extra.
lifting things.
Lifting.
Yep. He
Being-
was the most seasoned actor on that show. He had been on Kids Incorporated previously as a drummer.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, terrible show.
Showgirls, we all know.
Oh, we all know Showgirls.
Dustin Diamond's porno film. We all know.
Did Dustin Diamond do a porno film?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Really? Like a showgirl style saucy
No, he
R-rated
did a
movie?
hardcore like sex tape because.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, yeah. He's not a fun person. He was
Yeah,
gonna like
sure.
lose his house, and he was one of those guys that goes, "I'm really hurting for money. You know what I'm gonna do is turn to the lucrative world of stand-up comedy."
Right.
Which is
Yes.
never a good idea. And that didn't work out. And then he was like, he did all these web videos where he was like, I have to make a porn video to pay my mortgage. And then he did.
What?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
it's apparently horrific.
Yeah.
But Tiffany Amber Thiessen did well.
Yeah. Why am I continuing to jack off hearing
Well,
about
I mean, I've been trying to get that boner down by talking about Screech's porno tape.
Didn't work, apparently.
If anything, it went bigger.
I've discovered a new kink.
Yes, I love Screech.
Sure.
I'm gonna be screeching later. Also, Brian Austin Green.
Yes, also on the cover of this.
Yes, because there were a couple, I believe, on the show. This says, "Can these Beverly Hills sweethearts survive the tempestuous behind-the-scenes romance?"
Oh boy.
Real life couple.
Real life and a couple on the show. Were
very,
they?
very briefly. Yes.
You know, it's funny. Speaking of the nostalgia of our generation, we're probably about the same age. I'm
roughly.
assuming.
I'm 71 years old.
Yeah, sure. And I'm 14.
Yes. And together, they're the hottest cops in L.A.
Sure. Old cop, young cop.
Yep.
So 90210, you know, the nostalgic touch points of our generation. 90210 is one that I cannot participate in. I didn't watch it.
I didn't either.
I didn't like soapy things growing up. Yeah, so when people are kind of reminiscing about the Peach Pit.
I'm like, okay, I know
Sure.
what it is.
Yeah, I know some of the watchwords.
I can pretend.
But no, I have no 90210 nostalgia.
Here's why I didn't get into 90210. It premiered the same night, a Thursday night, same year as the Flash TV series in 1990.
Oh,
so I
okay.
went Flash.
Yeah,
I
sure.
went John
That's an
Wesley
easy
Shipp,
choice.
Flash, and then I was all in on Flash until it got canceled. And by that point, 90210 was a big phenomenon, and I just never picked it up.
Yeah,
I was
sure.
like, I went Flash. Made the wrong choice, and now I can't participate in culture.
I was like a late bloomer when it came to like feelings about girls too. So anything with like a big romance element, excluding X-Men.
Yep. The cartoon or the comic?
Both.
Okay.
So I was into the kind of soapiness of that.
Like when Storm and Wolverine were together?
Sure. Or when
Whoa.
Jean Grey and Gambit.
That was nuts.
Yeah. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. Will they? Won't they's in the
Yeah.
Xavier School for Gifted Youth. Anyway, but yeah. No, I was. I think I was anything where like romance was a big part of it. I was made me feel a little bit weird. 'Cause
It's
I think I
icky.
was dealing. It was gross.
Yeah.
Everything has cooties.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And you're like, I don't want to see this.
thank you.
One thing I've been trying to make happen, and no one has jumped on board, including people I've had on this show that have been on 90210 and know him personally, is I've been trying to get Brian Austin Green to be referred to as the bag.
The bag. Do you know? I mean, again, you didn't watch it, but you know, having had people on the show and you know, being a historian of this era of TV.
Yeah.
Does that have the same quality problems as Saved by the Bell, or could one watch an old 90210 and be entertained?
Oh, it's a much better quality show.
Sure.
It's still soapy and dumb and super 90s, but
Yeah.
it's not cartoonishly childish
Sure.
and completely stupid like 90210. I mean, like Saved by the Bell. But it's a well done show.
Mm-hmm.
There's also an episode that the Cramps are in.
That's cool.
Which is kind of cool.
Ah, love those.
Yeah,
Love
it's
those
a
90s musical
Halloween
guests.
episode with the Cramps, which is kind of weird. But I've had to rewatch some as research stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty well done. It's not like my favorite thing.
Sure.
And I heard that the reboot was amazing.
Oh yeah, they did like a self-aware reboot where
Yeah.
it was kind
They were
of.
playing themselves doing the characters.
Sure.
So
There was a very LA phenomenon over the past couple years is the like themed pop-up restaurant.
yes,
So
Saved by the Max.
So yeah, so there is a Saved by the Bell pop-up restaurant. There was like
They did the Peach Pit.
so they did the Peach Pit, and every time they were doing the Peach Pit near where I live, and I would walk by the Peach Pit and just a ghost town. And I
Yeah.
don't think it's because people don't like 90210, but I think LA had just hit peak pop-up.
Yeah.
They're like, you know, we've done the Max,
We
we've
did the
done
Double R,
Cheers, you know, we've gone to the Carolyn in the City escape room.
Yes. We did the single guy eating over the sink
Right.
room. Yeah.
Sure, the American Gladiators
Yes.
get waited on by Turbo.
Did the aggro crag.
Yes, yeah,
Oh,
sure.
Get Waited On by Turbo wasn't a pop-up. That was a Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, just where Turbo works.
Yeah, that's just where he works.
No,
yeah.
you know, that's fun. So, you know, it's a high traffic restaurant, so you
Yeah.
probably make great tips.
Yeah, and Malibu used to be the shift manager at the 7-Eleven on Santa Monica Boulevard. And he was a pretty cool dude. He'd wear his uniform.
Well, take a picture with you if
Yeah.
you're a fan.
Malibu pops up in an episode of Veronica Mars in the first season.
As Malibu?
No, he's a drug dealer who works at a gym.
That's so funny. I mean, that's when you're an American Gladiator and, you know, after the show had wrapped,
Yeah.
what are your acting options? Weightlifting drug dealer, basically.
Exactly. And there should be a whole show about weightlifting drug dealers.
Yeah.
The guy that won the first season of American Gladiators was an actor, Billy Worth. He's in Lost Boys.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
He's one of the vampires.
I guess I didn't know that American Gladiators, and I watched it. We would a fun game that I would play with my friends. Fun, yeah, it was fun. I'll stick by that. Was we would set up a little American Gladiators course in a backyard with Nerf guns.
Mm-hmm.
So like one person would be the tennis ball shooter.
Yep.
And then
The
you have
Eliminator.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so I watched American Gladiators, but for some reason, I didn't know it had a season progression thing.
Oh yeah, it was a competition, and it was. Gladiator started as a British show,
Okay.
which was Gladiators, and that's why it was called
Sure.
American Gladiators because it was a remake.
Oh, okay.
But it was such a huge phenomenon that
It was
first
called
season.
Fitness Chaps.
Fitness chaps.
Fitness chaps and ladies.
I actually tried to interview when I was in England last time one of the gladiators from the UK. She
yeah?
like runs a gym now, but she
Sure.
wasn't around.
Blood pudding.
Yes, yeah.
Meat and two veg.
But it had a ton of ripoffs because it was so huge for that
Oh, yeah?
one year. So we had Wizards and Warriors, which
Oh,
was
wow.
a medieval themed version of it.
It's also an NES game I think I
Yes,
had.
not based on the NES game, but they did do a TV version of 3D World Runner. And then there was
Made everybody sick.
Everyone puked.
Everybody.
But then they brought back Roller Derby as rock and roller games.
Really?
And
In
that
the
was-
UK?
No, in the US. And that
Huh.
was a ripoff of American Gladiators. And they had an alligator pit, and it was just
Wow.
ridiculous. So there were a bunch of shows like that.
That's so funny.
In the wake of American Gladiators. And in the toy line, there was a toy line.
Oh, man.
It was pretty
it was
sweet.
just G.I. Joes with new heads.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But they also had Nerf, like American Gladiator branded Nerf guns. So you could like shoot the
Oh,
Eliminator.
interesting. I
Yeah.
didn't know I don't know if our backyard games of American Gladiator had any official branded merchandise.
Wait, you weren't paying royalties when you were playing that game?
Oh my God, are we gonna get?
That statute of limitations isn't up. Like you guys are
God,
screwed.
don't sue me.
You guys are screwed.
Don't send Malibu to my house.
Malibu's going to come and collect his debt.
No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Malibu.
Diamond's going to drive. Before we,
I took 2 pennies from the 7-Eleven take a penny jar.
you didn't need that penny.
Leave a penny.
Leave one. Leave only pennies.
Take
What? That
only
doesn't make any sense.
Take only footprints.
Don't take anything. Leave only
Oh,
pennies.
Malibu's not doing great.
Just robbing us. Before we get into your picks here,
Yes.
I do want to say in the Grapevine section of TV Guide, which you had mentioned you never really looked at a TV
When
Guide.
you handed it to me, I was baffled.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I know what a TV guide is," but I was like thinking back. I'm like, "Why do I not know where to go in this to look for the times?"
You looked like one of the people in The Gods Must Be Crazy when they first got the Coke bottle.
Sure, yeah, it really felt like that. It felt like I was trying to decode some sort of Sumerian puzzle box
Yeah.
to get a treasure.
What's your pleasure?
And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I do remember looking up when things were going to be on TV, but I guess we did it in the back of the paper. We did it in the back of the Orange County Register.
Yep.
Anyway,
You were the OCR.
sure.
Yeah. Well,
Great listings. Great listings in the OCR.
really good listings. I always splurged for the TV. I used to pay for my own subscription because my family were dirtbags. But they have a What I Watched section.
Oh.
And this was short-lived in the 90s. They did this, and this is 95. So it's What I Watch. Geraldo Rivera. And their credential they list for Geraldo Rivera is OJ addict.
OJ. Oh my gosh. Oh.
Any guesses of what you think Geraldo Rivera, OJ addict, is watching in 1995?
Okay, let's think. Geraldo. He is watching. Boy, was Court TV a thing then? I guess it was. Let's say some Court
Yep.
TV.
The Simpson trial has totally altered my viewing habits. Now I watch CNN all day at 8. I watch primetime justice on Court TV.
Wow.
I'm boycotting baseball. I'm still furious about the strike. Now there's a baseball strike.
Sure.
Who controls the remote? My wife, Cece. She makes a point of keeping it on her side of the bed, but as soon as I get it, I do all the male shuffle.
Wow.
What? I never try to watch commercials. I like Leno. Cece prefers Letterman. If there's breaking news, I'll put on Koppel.
I guess that's a kind of a hack stand up. Men do
Yeah.
this, women do this thing from that era was that like women just leave the TV on and men flip around.
I do the man thing.
Yeah.
They won't ask for directions, but they'll turn on all the
But
channels.
they flip around as soon as they see the commercial.
Hey, how are you going to know what to buy? Men don't know. They don't
watch commercials.
And I love Leno.
That's true. Men love Leno and they don't know what to buy.
The most real thing there is that of
They're
course,
hungry for food and
Yes.
they're buying pencils because they've never seen a commercial for food.
There's no woman here to make me dinner.
Zeta.
Does anyone have a Hungry Man? Because I got a microwave that's eager to heat up salt. So let's jump in. Saturday night.
Yes.
This is August 26th, 1990. 1995.
So Saturday night, I think. Okay, so this is 1995.
Yep.
I was, like 12.
Okay.
Junior high. So this was a weird space for me, kind of I'm starting to develop my grown-up tastes, but still have some like kid taste residue.
Yeah, that you're somewhat ashamed of sometimes, right?
Yeah, and exactly. And I think that's what I found when I was making this list. I'm like, oh, I was kind of like getting into some of the stuff that would define my adult brain, but I was still into some of the kid stuff. Not kid stuff, but the like, the
Ninja Turtles.
Okay, so Saturday night,
Yeah.
I'm spending all night watching Double Impact, starring
Okay.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, where
Yes.
he plays twins.
Starring Jean-Claude Van Damme and Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, what? And what back Van Damme and Van Damme. Yeah, I know exactly. So because I think like at this point he was the shit. He was the Rock
Yeah.
of his day, and they're like, let's let him stretch as an actor.
So it's on Cinemax. They give it 1 star.
I don't think I care at this point.
That's about right. But counter-programming against Double Impact on TNT, also a 1-star martial arts movie,
What do you got?
Gymkata.
I know. Gymnastic skills, karate kills.
Yes.
I think at Gymkata is a definite like irony watch, and I don't think
Yeah.
I was there yet. So I think I would have tuned into the known quantity of Van Damme.
What's your favorite Van Damme movie?
I think Hard Target kind of holds up. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like John Woo's first American movie,
Yep.
so like the action's cool, but it has a lot of like motorcycle stunts, and he punches a snake in the face.
Wilford Brimley.
Wilford Brimley's kind of funny
Yep.
in it.
I had Yancey Butler on, and we talked about
Oh,
Hard Target.
interesting.
That was her first movie.
Yeah.
And that character was written as a man originally. And
Oh,
Yeah, it
interesting.
was like for some really weird stuff. Yeah, Wilford Brimley being full-on Cajun.
Yeah. Wilford Brimley is like a swamp man who like shoots crossbows at people.
Yeah.
Hard Target's a lot of fun, and I think as a kid I loved like Kickboxer and Bloodsport.
Yeah, I like Lionheart.
Oh, have I? I don't think I've ever seen Lionheart.
It's exactly Bloodsport,
Okay.
except it takes place in LA, and there's like an underground fight club.
Okay, that's cool.
It's the same movie.
And for the most part, I think those movies don't hold up great, just because Van Damme is so bad,
He's terrible.
and like action has just changed. Like those movies
Yeah.
are so.
They're clunky.
Yeah, they're clunky, and like if you just watch, like compared to like The Raid or John
Right.
Wick, like it's just not that fun to watch.
I will say that Seagal movies, the first 3, hold up really well. I mean, he's
What are the first
He's
3?
one of the worst people on earth. but,
Yeah, sure, he's
Hard to Kill, Above the Law, and Out for Justice.
Okay.
And they're awesome.
Okay.
They're like great 90s action movies.
I
The
was
action
never a
holds up.
Seagal guy. I saw what's the boat one?
Under
where he's
Siege.
Under Siege. But I was never a Seagal guy. I was a Van Damme. I was a
Yeah.
Van Damme head.
You gotta see Out for Justice. It's amazing. He plays a Brooklyn cop.
Okay.
And there's stuff.
does he do? Does he do?
He
it,
doesn't
boys?
do the
He's,
accent. Yeah,
hey.
yeah. I'm a Brooklyn cop, and I'm called what's his name? Nico.
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 Yeah.
Which he's named in Hard to Kill. His name is Mason Storm.
Mason Storm.
The trailer goes, Officer Mason Storm.
He's either a hard-boiled cop
Yeah.
or a weatherman.
Yeah.
A local weather guy.
That sounds like a weird jamming company. We're Mason Storm. We make like badass jams and jellies.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
but he-
these aren't your grandma's preserves.
Yeah. Rich gonna preserve you.
These pickled beets are gonna fuck you up.
So he in Out for Justice, he plays this Brooklyn cop, and there's lines in it that are so ridiculous. I had to buy a copy of the script to see if they were ad-libbed, and they're in the script. I actually have multiple iterations of the script for Out for Justice.
Okay.
But there's this scene where he's driving, and
I'm gonna you're talking. Tell me about the line. I'm gonna write
Yeah.
it down on my phone
Yeah.
to remind myself
So,
to watch Out for Justice.
First of all, he's looking for this guy Richie that he grew up with, who's a criminal. So the whole movie is just like, "Hey, anybody see Richie? Hey, you see Richie? Where's Richie?" And so he's driving, and this dude just throws a puppy out of a car window.
What?
And for no reason. And Seagal picks the puppy up, and he goes into this grocery store, and he goes, "Hey, how's it going?" And the kid working the store goes, "Ah." And then he's like, Seagal goes, "You got any puppy dog food?" So the kid goes, "Oh yeah, puppy dog food." And it's like,
puppy?
it's this whole scene.
For a puppy?
What's the point of this scene? He's
Yeah.
like, "This is a good stuff, yeah, puppy," and he's like buys food, and then that's the whole scene.
That is so weird. Maybe is that just like a did they try and just do an almost literal save the cat? Someone told them like in screenwriting he's got to save the cat.
There's
He's like,
a payoff.
But what if it's a puppy?
Puppy. There's a payoff at the end, right before the credits.
Yeah.
He's down in like I think he's in not Brighton Beach. What's the Brooklyn Carnival?
Rockaway Beach?
No, everyone knows what the Warriors are
Oh,
from.
sure. I know what
Yeah,
you mean.
why am I
yeah,
blanking?
I am too.
Yeah, but he runs into the guy who threw
Coney
the puppy,
Island.
Coney Island, who threw the puppy out of the thing, and he's got the puppy with him, and he goes and kicks that guy in the balls, and that's like the fade to black credit scene. So it's like a weird payoff.
Man.
Yeah.
This movie sounds great.
There's also a scene where he goes into some bar to interrogate people, and this guy goes, "Oh, Nico, I see you still combing your hair like a girl." And then he just like kills all these
Combing
people.
your hair like a girl.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
it's amazing. Although Stone Cold with Brian Bosworth is the greatest action movie of all time.
Okay.
Everyone needs to see it.
Stone, what year?
1990.
Okay.
He goes-
I bet it's good then.
His name is John Stone.
John Stone.
He's a
sure.
cop that plays by his own rules.
Yep.
In the first minute of the movie,
Wait, so he doesn't follow the book?
no, he doesn't play by the book.
What? How does he? Why? He doesn't follow the book?
Check this, but there's consequences. There's consequences.
What?
He has to turn in his gun and badge at one point.
Ah!
Yeah. And he goes undercover with a biker gang whose plan is to murder the entire Supreme Court.
Shit, I'm writing this down. I'm writing this down on my phone again. I'm going to have a little list of
They fly a helicopter into the Supreme Court.
Stone Cold.
Yeah, and they're riding motorcycles through the Supreme Court building. And so he's got to be this undercover biker guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally, his first line in the movie, he thwarts a robbery in this grocery store he's in by, like, basically killing the guys. And the cops show up and they're like, Cold, Stone, what are you doing here? And he goes, clean up on aisle 3.
Oh,
And
nice.
it's like,
Hell
it's
yeah.
great. It's Stone Cold's great. So Sunday night, what'd you
So
do?
Sunday night, so I'm spending all Saturday watching Double Impact. Sunday night, 8 o'clock, The Simpsons.
Yeah, this is more clues about who shot Mr. Burns.
Yes.
Did you ever call the number?
No, I didn't.
You could call and guess.
Okay.
And it was sponsored by 1-800-COLLECT. We're 3 weeks out from finding who did it on September 17th.
Right.
And you would win a prize if you guessed it correctly. They'd give you clues.
Really?
Yeah, it was they did it all summer. It was a big thing.
Oh, huh. I didn't know that. Yeah, so this is probably a rerun at this point because that was a like season finale, season premiere
Yes.
thing.
Yep. The season premiere was the 17th of September. But every week they had ads with more clues,
Sure.
which was a genius way to get you to watch reruns.
Oh, interesting. I don't know. I wasn't following this for some reason. I was very into Who Shot Mr. Burns, and I there was like a special leading up to it,
Yep.
and then there were like clues, and then there was like a special going over the clues from the first episode. I watched all that ancillary stuff, but for some reason the phone the phone scavenger hunt didn't reach me.
Do you remember who it was that shot Mr. Burns?
It was Maggie.
Yeah, it was Maggie. Yeah. Was that your theory at the time? Did you have
No,
another theory?
I mean, I think who did I think it
I went
was?
Smithers.
Yeah, Smithers is kind of the clear red herring.
Yeah, and I thought he was so obvious it had to be him.
Right.
That they would throw you off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Were you a calling 900 numbers kid?
I wasn't. I think I was like scared. I was a very fearful child, and I even think I'm a fearful adult as well.
Yeah.
A coward. So yeah, I think I was worried that it would like charge my parents money or something, and it would.
It would.
But yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever see the movie 976 Evil?
No. That's like a satanic panic movie about.
Yes. Robert Englund, who plays Freddy Krueger,
Sure.
directed 2 movies.
Oh my gosh.
One of which was a remake of Phantom of the Opera that he did in Prague,
No
where
way.
he plays the title role.
Okay.
And the other one is 976 Evil, about a satanic 900 number that makes a kid get possessed by the devil. And he's not in
so
it. He
funny.
just directed it.
Right.
And Stephen Jeffries is in it, who was in Fright Night, if you've ever seen
Oh
that.
yeah, sure.
He's Evil Ed.
Great.
And he plays like a picked on nerd who becomes the devil. And I remember there's a scene where he busts up a poker game and kills everyone in the poker game. But he comes in and he turns around and he goes, "Can I get in the game with a pair of hearts?" And he's
And he
got like 2 human hearts in his
Wow.
hands. Yeah, it's real bad.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's I don't know if I'd write that
It's
down.
so funny because it's like there's always the like horror movie about the trend.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's probably a lot. I mean, I guess there still are. Once in a while, you get a like social media horror movie.
Yeah.
like Unfriended and
God friended me.
Godfriended. Yeah, sure.
Terrifying.
Anyway, so yeah, that seems like that that version.
The
of that.
fidget spinners horror movie.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there was a comic book horror movie at some point where a kid got like too into a comic book and pulled him in.
There's Cellar Dweller,
Oh my gosh.
which starred Jeffrey Combs of Reanimator fame, and
course.
it was produced by Charles Band, and it's about a comic book artist whose monsters that he draws in the comics come to life.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5 where the kid who wants to be the comic book artist gets killed in a comic book by
Oh,
Freddy.
that's right. Okay.
Yeah, but I can't think of... Yeah, there's no like brain scan for comics.
Right.
I guess Creepshow.
Creepshow, yeah.
Yeah, that's about as close as we get. Anything else on Sunday?
So Sunday, 8:30. I think I'm keeping it on Fox for Living Single.
Okay, great show.
There's something on AMC called The Naked Prey, and I don't know what that is, but I think I might have checked it out because I was at the age where I was like looking for nudity.
Yep.
I was kind of like on the hunt for, for
Boobs.
boobs.
Do you know the 3 PG-13 movies that had boobs in them?
No, I don't. This is great. I'm just gonna keep my notes app open for the rest of this
This was like
conversation.
privileged knowledge
Okay.
as a teen,
What do we got?
as a preteen.
Oh, let me try. I think I can guess one.
Yeah.
I think it's the Romeo and Juliet you watch in high school.
Yes,
Okay.
that was not an official one because that one's kind of boring.
Oh, sure. Okay.
That one seems like homework.
Yeah, a little dry to jacket
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah. But this was like privileged knowledge because if you go to the Blockbuster or the video store, like you could rent a PG-13 movie. They wouldn't call your parents. So one of them is 16 Candles.
Okay. Where do you see boobs in 16 Candles? Maybe
What-
I've only seen it on TV.
They're admiring the hot girl in the shower.
Okay.
And it like literally opens on a shot of her boobs.
Oh my gosh.
One of them
Those
is
famous, now problematic
Yep.
80s teen scenes.
Yep, that whole movie.
Sure.
One of
Oh,
them is
yeah.
The Invisible Kid.
Okay.
Starring Jay Underwood.
So he uses his invisibility to peep.
And also in that movie is China Phillips.
Okay.
And the third one is an English film starring Robbie Coltrane and Eric Idle. Nuns on the Run.
Nuns on the Run. I have heard of Nuns on the Run.
Nuns on the Run's a pretty good movie.
Okay.
It's funny.
And there's some boobs in it.
Yeah, because they go through like the nuns' shower.
Oh, okay. And the nuns all have
all
giant
boobs.
80s implant.
Yeah, they're all rubbing each other down.
Wow.
Yeah. So those are the 3 movies that kids would always rent when they're like,
Oh, that's so
no,
funny.
Ma, it's PG-13, it's fine. And they'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Little do they know.
Woohoo. What
So
else
yeah,
you got?
8:30, keeping it for Living Single, and 9, spending the rest of the night watching Wayne's World.
It's a good call.
Yeah.
Is that the best SNL movie?
So I'm a fan of Stuart Saves His Family.
That is a fun
I'm
movie.
a fan of the It's Pat movie. Speaking of weird 90s cameos,
Yep.
Ween's in it.
Yep.
And I'm MacGruber. I mean, I think that's
I've not seen MacGruber.
it's kind of a cold comedy take at this point. And I maybe you are sick of people recommending MacGruber to you, but damn,
good, right?
MacGruber's so funny. It's insanely funny.
I'm not against it. I just have, for some reason, have missed it.
Yeah, I do yourself a solid. It's really, really
Because
good.
I've even seen like Night at the Roxbury. It was terrible.
Yeah, I know.
Coneheads is actually really good.
Yeah, I think I was definitely like a big SNL kid, and like I would loved when John Lovitz would pop up in things.
Yes.
John Lovitz is like their dentist in that, I believe.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Have you met John Lovitz?
No, don't spoil it for me.
I won't spoil him. for you.
Yeah.
I've done shows with John Lovitz.
Just leave Lovitz pristine in my mind,
Yeah.
please.
Oh boy, he's very funny though.
He's a very funny man.
But
a
oh
funny
boy,
voice.
A friend of mine was opening for him. A friend who's Jewish, and John Lovitz goes up to him and goes, "Are you a Jew?" And he was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Me too." It was like the weirdest
good.
thing. That's pretty much the only thing he said.
Right.
It's very strange.
I'm just checking to
Just
make sure
checking.
you're Jewish.
Jewish.
Yeah, so I'm sticking for Wayne's World.
Okay.
A favorite of mine.
It's a great movie. Holds up very well. I rewatch it
Yeah,
often.
it's really funny.
Even the second one's decent. It's not great.
Yeah, the second one, I think I liked. I remember laughing in the second one at the Jurassic Park parody.
Yes.
There's a point where a glass of water ripples, and I think I was too young to realize that was hack, and I just liked it that another movie I liked was getting referenced.
Also, Penelope Spheris, who's one of my favorite people on earth who I've had on
Yeah,
the show. Just anything she's made, I've enjoyed.
Yeah, for
anything.
sure. She's great. She's had what a great career.
Oh, yeah.
What a cool ass career she's
And
had.
a fascinating life. Her life story is
Absolutely.
bonkers.
Yeah,
Monday night, there's some great stuff on here.
Okay, Monday night, I crossed out Fresh Prince and then went over to Ab Fab.
Oh,
This
wow.
is in my Comedy Central phase,
Yep.
where I just wanted to watch everything on Comedy
Whose
Central.
line is it anyway,
Whose
Dr.
line is it
Katz, Ab Fab?
Anyways, yeah, a lot of good kid stuff. PCU constantly.
Yep, Kids in the Hall.
Yeah, Kids in the Hall.
So they have a special. This is fantastic. Microsoft presents the start of something new. Join Anthony Edwards for a look at the Windows 95 generation.
Wow. That's so funny. They're like, surely everyone will be referring to this as the Windows 95 generation.
Yeah, not millennials.
No, of course.
Yeah, the W95G.
These are kids who are defined by an operating system
Yes.
that was out when they were kids.
What are you, an OS 10? What are you? I don't understand. Yeah. But
This ain't
huge
your dad's
deal.
operating system.
This ain't your daddy's Windows. Huge night that you missed at 8 o'clock.
Okay. Well, what else is going on?
A Fox special presentation. Alien Autopsy. Fact or fiction.
Sure.
This was when they pretended that this footage of an alien autopsy was real.
Right.
They aired it as real footage. They blurred out its genitals.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, some claim the government recorded alien bodies at Roswell and UFO crash site 1947. Tonight, decide for yourself.
Boy, this was like a real era of Fox.
Yeah.
This is like peak Fox.
This is when animals attack Fox.
Yeah.
See unbelievable footage of an alien autopsy and decide for yourself if it's a hoax or the most compelling evidence of life on other planets. And they really tried to pretend like it was real.
Isn't there a History Channel one about mermaids?
Yes, yeah. But that one, they had like a disclaimer like this is a work of fiction and blah, blah,
Oh,
blah.
okay.
Fox was really like, we found this footage. It's real.
Decide for
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah. And they had people on being like, this is real footage. My dad still believes it's real.
Really?
Even though they had a special effects guy come on and be like, no, I made that. It's fake.
That's so funny.
He's like, they made him say that. So you missed that. But then what'd you do?
So noon, Ab Fab on Comedy Central, 8:30, going over to Nick at Night for the Munsters.
Are you a Munsters or an Addams Family?
I'm more Munsters than I am Addams Family. Of course, the Addams Family movies from when we were kids are very good.
Yep.
I would imagine hold up pretty well.
Cartoons as well.
Oh, yeah. I bet the cartoons are good.
The TV show, far funnier than the Munsters.
Really?
Because I love the way the Munsters look.
Yeah, the Munsters look so cool.
If I lived in a world, I would live in the Munsters world.
Yeah.
But if I'm watching a show, it's the Addams Family because the Munsters was just a sitcom.
Right.
And they looked like monsters. That was it.
I know. Yeah, there
Addams-
weren't even really that many monsters. There's a lot of jokes where someone
Is
scared of them and runs away in that weird sped up
Yep.
frame rate.
Yeah. But Addams Family, they were fucking crazy,
Yeah.
rich, and weirdos, and they loved it. Like, that was the whole point. Like, they're just bonkers.
They're so joyous. Yeah, They are so happy to be alive.
And into all the weird shit that they're into.
Yeah,
That's the weirdest thing. And and John Astin just plays demented so well. I get so much joy out of
I
that
don't
show.
think that was, maybe I'm wrong, I don't think that was getting reran anywhere when I was a kid.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, there was a lot of Munsters on constantly, but I don't remember like having access to Addams Family reruns.
So Addams Family and Munsters both only ran 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
They would always, in most markets, they would always air them in a block in
Mm-hmm.
reruns. So it would be Addams Family and Munsters, just like it was Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie would always be in an hour
Yeah.
together. But that's strange that it was just Munsters. I wonder if that's a SoCal thing.
Yeah, it might be a regional thing. I mean, yeah, that's when kind of what that was such a big thing about what reruns you got is what region you were in and who was buying the syndication.
Yeah, exactly. And in Southern California is more like Munsters, Dragula, sort of like
Yeah,
60s,
yeah, sure.
like Ed Roth stuff. And Addams Family didn't fit into that, weirdly.
Maybe, yeah, no, the surf rock intro
Yes.
is a little more SoCal.
One of the few things I can play on the guitar. Also, the premiere at 9 o'clock, 90-minute series premiere of Bruce Greenwood in Nowhere Man.
I don't know what that is.
This was when UPN just was launching, and this was sort of a version of The Fugitive. Thomas Vale has uncovered a global conspiracy. Now the dark forces behind it are out to erase every trace of his existence.
Okay. This sounds like this is kind of trying to capitalize off X-Files mania a
Big
little
time.
bit. Yeah.
Big time. As was Alien Autopsy.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
A lot of things were at that time, but yeah, this was Nowhere Man, which was a pretty good show.
Okay.
What'd you do at 9?
9 o'clock, we're going Street Fighter starring Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yep, and Kylie Minogue.
Oh, yeah. The star-studded cat, Raul Julia.
His last movie, I think, right?
Raul Julia's swan song.
Yes,
Was
M.
Street
Bison.
Fighter. I still am. I mean, I still buy every Street Fighter game that comes out. It's maybe my favorite video game franchise. And yeah, and I did not know that the movie was shitty as a kid.
It's
and
not,
maybe I was a little too old to still be thinking that was good, but I was into it.
it's better than Mortal Kombat.
Oh, it would be interesting to watch those back to back. I remember liking both.
Mortal Kombat had sequels and Street Fighter didn't, right?
No, so there is a Street Fighter The Legend of Chun-Li
Okay.
that came out 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
I want there to be a Street Fighter 2, the movie. That's not a sequel to the movie Street Fighter. It's a movie based on Street Fighter 2.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Just like the Goonies 2 game.
Yeah.
Which is a video game sequel to the movie.
Right, I know. That was so audacious.
Yeah, very weird.
So yeah, I was so I think I would have easily tuned into that.
Who was your go-to character?
My main is still Blanca.
Yeah.
Was and is. But depending on what version you're playing, I will also do Chun-Li sometimes.
Okay.
Of the original 8.
Yeah, give me a
I'm not
monster,
gonna-
I'll
I'm not
pick
gonna-
the monster.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
got to pick the monster.
Right from, what was it? What was the Nintendo All-Star Wrestling with the Amazonian?
Oh
era?
yeah, sure. I think that was just called Amazon. This
Yeah.
is pro wrestling with Starman.
That's it, yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
King Tiger.
Yep, and Amazon would always bite their head.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Quack,
yeah.
quack, quack. And I remember the crowd noise from that game.
Yeah. I got really into. Someone made me a Raspberry Pi a couple of years ago. My friend
Oh,
Giovanni, and I really got back into Punch Out. And
Oh, Punch Out's so fun.
It's so
Fucking
fun.
Super Punch Out's
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Whamp, whamp, whamp.
Yeah. Good. Just a good, solid game. Good, solid gameplay.
Never tried to do a Punch Out cartoon. We just got King Hippo and Captain N the Game Master.
Oh yeah, sure.
And it was an inaccurate King Hippo.
It wasn't.
It was
Yeah.
all purple
well,
and-
those Captain N and the Game Master designs were fucking all over the
How
place.
did that happen?
I don't know. It just sucks. That shit sucks.
You know what? I do a lot of conventions, and I don't know how I haven't seen anyone cosplaying as Captain N the Game Master, because it's pretty easy.
Oh yeah, you just need a Letterman jacket and a zapper.
In a holster.
Yeah.
In a controller belt.
Huh?
He had a
Oh right,
controller
yeah,
belt
sure.
buckle.
Then he could speed
Pause.
up and forward time. yeah.
by fiddling with his crotch.
Yeah. By poking myself in the penis.
What are you doing? I'm speeding up time.
I'm trying to defeat Mother Brain.
Pause. Tuesday.
jacking off.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I'm sorry.
Tuesday night. What are you going for?
Tuesday night, 8:00. Kids in the Hall on Comedy Central.
So you're sticking with Kids in the Hall.
Yeah. So this is when this is like, you know, my comedy snobbery is incubating here.
Mm-hmm,
So, you know, Ab Fab, Kids in the Hall, all those comedy. I mean, I loved Kids in the Hall because it would come on for a while after Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
And then I think got replaced by Showtime at the Apollo, which I also liked.
Short time in between SCTV.
Oh,
They
yeah.
rerun SCTV before.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That might have also been a local thing, too, because I don't know if we got the post-SNL SCTV.
I love it. SCTV is my favorite.
Oh, funny.
Everything.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of attachment to it. I
It's so
discovered
good.
it later as like a DVD.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Some of the funniest things I've ever seen have been SCTV.
Oh yeah, I mean some of the world's funniest people started
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
Sure, Catherine O'Hara, Joe Flaherty on
Joe
that.
Flaherty,
Yeah.
Gene Levy, John Candy, Rick Moranis, Dave Thomas.
That'd be a fun rewatch.
Andrea Martin. Well, the great thing about SCTV is it rewards you if you watch it for a long time because there's so many callbacks. It builds this world that's just insane.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's very funny. So yeah, I am gonna have to watch Rescue 911.
Okay.
Which is and was one of my favorite shows.
Sure.
At Christmas time this year,
This is them dramatizing 911 calls.
real
right?
911 calls. They'd play the actual call and then dramatize it. And Rescue 911 actually did Christmas specials.
Really?
Which I made a playlist of them last year. There's one where this
Of
kid's...
Christmas tragedies?
Yes.
Holiday tragedies? Did they do any Hanukkah tragedies?
No, it was all Christmas. It was very Christian. It was very Christian-centric. This kid's choking in a car, and Santa Claus shows up and gives him the Heimlich maneuver and walks away.
Wow.
And it's a real call, and it's always Southern people for some reason.
Sure.
The lady's like, "My son, Santa Claus is here. Oh, Santa saved him." It's just like the weirdest thing.
Wow.
And the good thing about Rescue 911 was they never played calls where people died.
Okay.
They always had a happy ending. So
Yeah.
you knew. So this one is a dog that fell in an icy river in Montana, a woman in Louisiana who couldn't locate her young daughters, a man who attempted to save a woman after she was rear-ended at a railroad crossing and landed in the path of an oncoming train.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad all these turned out okay. I'm glad you told me that all
Yeah.
of these had happy endings
That's
by default.
Yeah, that's high drama.
I'm glad that dog's okay.
Yeah.
I just want the best for him.
He's still alive. He was driving the truck, though.
Yeah. Oh,
Then
that's your first problem.
the 2-hour season premiere on UPN of the show Live Shot that was about a Los Angeles news station.
Okay.
And Cheryl Pollack was in it. It didn't go very
Was
far.
it a dramedy?
It was a dramedy.
Okay.
It was a pretty good show.
Maybe a proto sports night?
Yeah, but about news.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was pretty good. 8:30. What'd you do?
8:30, we're staying on Comedy Central for Dr. Katz, professional therapist.
Love Dr. Katz,
Yeah,
Jonathan,
it's so
good friend.
funny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
He's
great.
been on the show many times.
Oh, that's awesome.
Based.
Yeah, it's such a funny show. He's just a man made of jokes, isn't he?
Tonight, which this will date this show, but down in Santa Monica, the Arrow, they're showing House of Games, and David Mamet's there doing
yeah?
a Q&A. But Jonathan co-wrote that.
Oh, that's right. They're like college buddies.
They're best friends.
That's a very
Yeah.
funny little pair. I
They
think.
used to hustle ping pong for money.
Really?
Yeah, they would travel around and hustle ping pong. One time, Jonathan called me and he was like, Ken, my great friend David Mamet always gets me the most wonderful gifts for my birthday, and I never get him anything good. He was like, do you have a TV guide from Chicago area from like, and he gave me whatever the year and date that Mamet was born was, and I did.
Yeah.
And he sent it to him, and so apparently that's like up in Mamet's office now.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
It's really weird.
That's funny. Maybe I'll go to that. This is probably
Yeah.
sold out at this point, right?
It might be. You got some pull.
Okay.
a
You
little
know
pull.
what, Ken? I do not.
You want me to pull get you
Would
in?
you please?
Cat's offered to ask to tell Mamet to put me on the list. I
Oh,
can't
yeah,
go.
okay.
Yeah, let's see
Yeah.
if I can get you in there.
I'll totally go.
Yeah, that's a good call though. I'd probably go Roseanne.
Yeah. We were a big. So I had to cross off to do Street Fighter. I had to cross off Murphy Brown.
Yeah.
that was a big like family viewing thing for us.
Oh, okay.
My mom was a huge Murphy Brown fan, and to this day still has not forgiven Dan Quayle.
Yeah.
for talking smack about Murphy Brown and single moms in general.
Simpler times, man.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I know when that was the scandal, is that Dan Quayle said something nasty about Murphy Brown.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Trump's like, Dancing with the Stars is for losers. Like, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Like, this is what we're doing now. And then what'd you do at 9?
So 9 o'clock. So I mentioned earlier that I think this is a liminal space for me between comedy snob and, just child who watches whatever.
Yep.
9 o'clock, Home Improvement.
I'm so sorry.
Still liked it. Still thought it was funny. Had not realized that. Maybe Tim Allen revealed himself to be a monster.
No,
He
not
probably,
really.
Yeah.
But it's probably my second least favorite sitcom after Mama's Family.
Mama's Family.
And the way,
I kind of liked Mama's Family.
yeah,
Too.
the way I describe my feeling watching Home Improvement is: do you remember Hess gas stations?
No.
They were a chain of gas stations.
Okay.
But if you went to sleep in your bed and you woke up just in the middle of a Hess gas station and you don't know how you got there and what was happening, that's how I feel watching Home Improvement.
It's so funny. I mean, I realize now that it objectively sucks. But I think at the time I just liked Men Are Like This, Women Are Like This jokes.
Oh, the kids sucked. Everything
kids
sucked.
sucked,
Wilson
yeah.
sucked. Everything sucked about that show.
Not the divine Miss Pamela Anderson, though.
Well,
who
no,
was
that's
the
true.
Tool Time girl.
Although I like Debbie, what's her name that replaced her, better.
You hate the show, but you have a preference of
Did I have
Tool
a
Time
preference?
girls.
Yeah, that's what you had to do when you were 15.
Right.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, and then what'd you do 9:30?
Doing Coach.
Again, Catherine Hellman's guest starring in this episode, which is pretty cool. But I couldn't get into Coach.
Oh, we were a big Coach. Yeah,
I'd watch it sometimes. Craig T. Nelson rubs me the wrong way.
Interesting.
He used to do stand-up.
Did he?
Yeah, there's
Is
pictures
that where
up
he
at
got
the
his start?
Comedy
Oh,
Store.
that's so
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
And he just coasted on Coach.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was in Action Jackson.
Oh, that's right.
In Poltergeist.
Yeah. Oh, Poltergeist. Yeah,
Yeah.
Craig T. Nelson's had a good career. He's in the Incredible movies now, right? The Incredibles.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Sure.
The John Larroquette Show is on. Which
Oh,
I'm
okay.
watching all day, every day. Amazing show. Did not get the credit that it deserves.
Okay.
It was Dan Harmon's first writing gig.
Really?
Super dark. John Larroquette plays a recovering alcoholic
Mm-hmm.
who has fallen from grace, and the only job he can get is as the night manager of a bus station.
Okay.
And it's just really sad and shot on film and funny and weird. And reoccurring character, David Crosby,
Really? As himself?
as John Larroquette's AA sponsor.
That's really funny.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Isn't there a Simpsons gag where someone calls their sponsor and it's David Crosby?
I think so, yeah, because there's a joke that he's everybody's
Lionel
sponsor.
Hutz.
Yes.
Oh, Did they
Yeah.
steal that from the John Larroquette show, or is that a reference? Or
I think it's a reference that, like, honestly, he is like everyone in Hollywood's sponsor. It's
Really?
like if you're in AA, your sponsor is either David Crosby or Tom Arnold. Yeah.
Oh, to be an
Pretty much how it goes.
alcoholic.
Yep. Wednesday, what'd you do?
Wednesday night, doing Grace Under Fire, another family show for us.
I love that show.
Yeah, we were also a big Roseanne house, but I think my parents were Southern, so I think they liked the kind of like Southern sass of Grace Under Fire.
Yeah. And she was funny. I mean, she
was. Brett Butler, right?
despite all the sort of public like drama that happened around that show, she's really funny, and that was a great blue collar sitcom. And speaking of SCTV, Dave Thomas was on that show.
Oh, that's right, he was.
He was the
that's so
romantic
cool.
lead.
Yeah.
This one, Grace casually dates a minor league baseball player, while Faith formally demands a major commitment from Russell, who balks.
Sounds hot.
Real hot, yeah.
Hot.
Yeah, I love that show. You passed up Unsolved Mysteries.
I did. And, I was never, that Unsolved Mysteries, Rescue 911, that kind of thing never did it for me.
Never did it for you?
Yeah.
It's scary.
Is it?
It's scary. Oh, yeah, I was so freaked out.
What were
by
some of the
Mysteries.
Unsolved Mysteries? So, Bigfoots.
So here's the weird thing about Unsolved Mysteries is they would mix complete bullshit like Bigfoot's with things like a rapist.
Oh, boy.
in the same episode.
Oh,
so,
my.
it was the weirdest, and it put everything on the same keel.
Sure.
So it was, as a kid, it was really confusing.
Yeah.
And this episode is a new report examines the case of a Chicago college teacher who vanished in 1987. Repeat segments include the work of a, quote, spirit changer. In Sao Paulo, Brazil, the 1994 arrest of a fugitive outside of Boise, Idaho, and a former runaway's search for the 3 good Samaritans who helped her.
A show from this genre that I got into recently because it's all on Amazon Prime is Fact or Fiction.
Yep.
Hosted by Jonathan Frakes, I believe.
Of Star Trek The Next Generation.
Someone
Yep.
else. I think...
Sherry Belafonte hosted some of it, too.
Oh, interesting. James Brolin hosted a season as well.
Yep.
This is wild. This is a recreation type show where some of it's real and some of it's fake, and you don't know till the end.
It's three truths and a lie.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that had a real fun 90s kind of camp quality to
Absolutely.
it that I really liked. That was a fun catch. I didn't watch it in its original run, but they were on
It's
Amazon.
silly. It's a fun version of Sightings. Sightings was the Unsolved Mysteries
God,
without the
yeah.
rapists.
Sure,
It was like just the aliens.
cryptozoology related
Exactly,
things.
yeah.
Are there enough of those? I mean, obviously there's enough of those for a show.
There was
How
several
often
shows.
do people see monsters?
Not so much anymore. Although
Yeah.
they're on Animal Planet, there's a show called River Monsters. There's like 15 In Search of
I guess
Bigfoot
there's
shows.
Bigfoot shows, yeah.
But in the 70s, we had In Search of, hosted by Leonard Nimoy.
Sure, yeah.
Which is why Jonathan Frakes got the gig for Fact or
Right,
Fiction.
we
'cause
need
there's like a tradition
we
of
need a
that.
Star Trek person.
And then you also had various iterations of Ripley's Believe It or Not, including one that was hosted by Jack Palance. That was one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
Because he would come out and he'd be like, believe it or not. And you were like, I'm sorry.
either way, I'll
Yeah.
kick you in your face.
Then they remake that show, and in the hosting it is Dean Cain.
Really?
Can you think of anything where you're like, we got Jack Palance, Dean Cain,
Legendary tough guy, Jack Palance.
and then Dean Cain.
So, but that Dean Cain was, I think there's just a lot of like, especially in the world of hosting, there are a lot of just like lazy choices.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there was a hot sec. Maybe we're still there. Where just Ryan Seacrest hosted everything.
Oh well, yeah.
I
I feel like Dean Cain is the one where they're like, give me that Mario Lopez. And then somebody's like, we can't get Mario Lopez. Get Dean Cain. He won't even know.
he won't even remember what he said. They're like,
Yeah.
we got Dean Cain like
that
you asked, boss.
perfect.
Sure, good.
Have you seen the documentary
Snort coke.
Electric Boogaloo about Canon Pictures?
No,
They made like all the super racist Chuck Norris movies, and there were these 2 Israeli guys that made like all these huge movies.
I've heard about this. I do want to. Thank you, God.
It's very good. It's
Okay.
very good. But there's a really funny thing. They made the movie King Solomon's Mines, which was a ripoff of Indiana Jones.
Sure.
And Menachem Golan, who ran the company, went, give me the Stone Woman. So they hire Sharon Stone.
Right.
And everyone hates her. And they shoot the movie, and it's a nightmare with her down there. And then they're screening the movie for Menachem Golan, and he's watching it, and he goes, who's this fucking bitch? And they're like, what are you talking about? This is the person you wanted. He goes, no, the Stone Woman, romancing the Stone. They wanted Kathleen Turner. And they were like,
The Stone
oh my
Woman.
God. Yeah. He also in that movie, there's a guy telling a story about how Menachem Golan pitched a movie to the monkey from Every Which Way But Loose. But like literally was like, there's a boy who loves the monkey. you are the monkey. Like he's
You will be the boy.
He's trying to sell this monkey on doing a movie. Oh, it's ridiculous.
I'm just really busy right now.
Yeah.
I'm
You
doing
know,
a lot of projects.
Is it really going to be the high-profile project that I need? And then 90210 that night, just because it's on the cover, I feel obligated
Yeah.
to read what happens. In Palm Springs, Brendan considers surrendering to Valerie. Steve rejects a blind date arranged by his father. Ray injures Donna in a fight, but still manages to get on the good side of her mother. And Dylan meets a potential backer for his film who knows something about his father's death.
Wow.
There's a lot going on.
That's a pivotal episode, it sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, it's the season premiere.
Dylan gets funding for that film.
Yeah, Dylan's film. Phil and Dylan. 9 o'clock, what'd you do?
9 o'clock, we're doing, so 8:30, we're doing Ellen.
Yep.
Okay. So 9 o'clock. I didn't see anything that spoke to me at 9 o'clock. So I just picked something that I think I would have picked as a kid based on the name. It is a movie. It is called Galaxis. I don't know what Galaxis is, but if I was a kid looking through the listings and I saw that at 9 o'clock something called Galaxis was on,
Yep.
I would have tried that.
Galaxis, which I'm going to look up in the movie section.
Yeah.
But if I'm remembering correct, I believe this stars Jesse the Body Ventura.
Oh, then I'm certainly in.
as
For
an
Predator?
international bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Where are we? Gandhi.
Oh, you might be thinking of Abraxas.
I'm thinking of Abraxas.
You're thinking of Abraxas.
I don't
which
know
is a
what
Terminator
Galaxis is.
ripoff.
It's not even listed in here. Galaxis.
Listeners, hit us
If you
up.
know Galaxis.
What's Galaxis?
Yep, TV Guidance Counselor at gmail.com for Galaxis. Yeah, they were showing another episode of Grace Under Fire as well.
Yeah.
Which weirdly, but now we have to watch Galaxis. All right, Thursday night.
Thursday night. I know this is boring. This is just like young comedy nerd shit. But at Thursday night, 8 o'clock on Comedy Central, Monty Python.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
have
this
to.
is young. Yeah, I think I had just around this time seen. Well, no, Monty Python was on PBS where we were
Yes,
growing up. So I
frequently.
kind of knew it. But I think I had just gotten into it because maybe I'd seen Holy Grail for the first time around here.
And the Mr. Show guys were constantly going on about
Oh,
Python.
yeah, for sure.
That I remember that was like a little mini resurgence of love because of alt comedy.
Totally.
We were talking about Python because it was kind of uncool for a while.
Yeah, I
And then
know.
it'll come
And
back.
I think it's just byproduct of being on PBS,
Yeah.
that's where it got its start. So yeah, I mean, there's a little stink on it from that. But yeah, Comedy Central started showing it, and yeah, so there's something. It's like an hour and a half. I'm assuming it's a movie.
It's got to be Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I think Holy Grail is maybe a little more expensive because I remember Comedy Central showed The Life of Brian a lot, which I love. It's maybe a better movie,
Yeah.
but
I
it was
agree.
more frequently on Comedy Central.
There's also a weird show premiering on Fox that is a ripoff of Wings,
Okay.
and it's called The Crew.
The Crew.
A comedy about the glamorous, exciting jet-set world of the international traveler and what it's like to serve them drinks.
Was Wings so hot that it garnered ripoffs?
I mean, Wings did pretty good.
It was on for a long time.
Anyone on this show that went on to do anything later? Nope, nobody I recognize.
Nobody in the crew.
No one in the crew.
One
the
and
crew.
done.
Anyone?
One and done.
Anyone in the crew?
If anybody out there, are you waiting tables with Turbo at the Cheesecake Factory? Let us know.
The Monty Python thing is 20 years of Monty Python. It's a special celebrating 20 years of Monty Python.
I certainly would have watched that.
Yeah, 1995, 1965. Yeah, so
Okay.
it's a 90-minute show. So you're watching that all night then, I imagine.
Yeah, so and then I also made note of I probably at some point would have switched over to Seinfeld.
Yes, and after the Monty Python thing, Comedy Central showed Saturday Night Live reruns.
Oh yeah, I watched a lot of Saturday Night
So
Live
did I.
reruns on Comedy Central.
Once Comedy Central lost Saturday Night Live, I don't think I ever watched Comedy Central again.
Interesting. Oh really?
Yeah.
Huh, yeah.
Because when they were like, we replaced it with Mad TV, I was like, God damn you.
Bad
What
move.
have you done to
Some
me?
funny stuff on Mad TV, but
But I was just so mad.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
they did old Conan's for a while,
Oh, that's
which was
right.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, nope. If I'm not having marathons on Christmas anymore and MST3K moved to Sci-Fi,
That's right.
you're dead to me, Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Yeah. And final night of the week.
Final night of the week, Friday.
Friday
Again, liminal space between tastes. 8 o'clock, Family Matters. I think we were still at this point tuning in once in a while to what was the Friday night block called?
TGIF.
TGIF.
Thank goodness-
I almost said TCBY.
You know what it stands
the
for?
country's best yogurt.
The country's best yogurt. Thank goodness it's funny.
Thank goodness. So yeah, I can't. Certainly
Can't
don't want
say
to take the Lord's name in vain.
Oh, no.
I learned. I've written a little bit of kids TV And that's still a thing that they are super, super sensitive of, is like a character saying like gosh or golly in a way that seems like maybe it's taking the Lord's name in vain.
Yeah.
That's so wacky
Oh
that
my
people are
gosh.
still writing letters about that. Anyway.
Who cares?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's so weird.
I know. I was writing for a kid show and a character couldn't say golly. And I'm like this character can't say golly?
Like Gomer Pyle was saying golly.
Sure.
That was his catchphrase.
Anyway.
Well, golly.
Golly. But yeah, Family Matters is probably in the zone where Family Matters got super crazy, where there was multiple Urkels and they were shrinking and going on shrinking adventures.
As a finalist in an inventors contest,
Yep.
Urkel invites the Winslows along on his free trip to Walt Disney World, where Lara shares a fantasy romance with her Prince Charming, Stefan Urkel.
Stefan Urkel.
Part 1 of 2.
Part 1 of 2.
This was when Disney had bought ABC,
Yeah,
and like
all the characters would go to Disney World.
every 2 weeks was a huge commercial for Disney World or
Yeah.
Disney Cruises.
That's right. Those were kind of fun when they would do the night-long, kind of continuity.
I guess a bit at the time, but even as a kid, I was like, well, this is commercial bullshit. And then look at me here selling out in Max Fun.
Sure, right? Yeah, exactly. The Staples Center of podcasting booths.
Then what'd you do at 8:30?
8:30, I'm doing Welcome Back, Kotter on
Wow.
Nick at Night.
So you didn't go Boy Meets World?
Did not go. I did not like Boy Meets World for some reason. A lot of people would tell me my dad looked like Mr. Feeney, and I
he?
think I didn't like that. I think I didn't like
Watching your dad in a sitcom.
watching my dad. Yeah.
Did he have a mustache?
He didn't. Yeah, my dad really looked. I mean, if you want to know what Jordan's dad looks like, you Google image search Mr. Feeney, and that's pretty much it.
Did he hang around with high school kids?
He did. And, that was part of the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a problem.
He got really into their personal lives. For
Did
some
your
reason.
dad voice Kit?
Yes, my dad was also. Was my dad Mr. Feeney the
Because I
whole time?
think your dad might have been Mr. Feeney.
No, I don't think he was.
That's one of my classic stand-up bits. Your dad might be Mr. Feeney.
That's right. Yes.
If your dad voiced Kit the car from Knight Rider.
How long does that bit go on? There's got to be
might
only
be
two things,
Mr.
right?
Feeney.
If your dad was the adult character on Boy Meets World,
who uncomfortably shared his personal life with tweens. It might be Mr. Feeney.
does your dad send a Christmas card to Ryder Strong?
If your dad was the president of the Screen Actors Guild for 3 years.
That's fun.
He might have been Mr.
He
Feeney.
might have been Mr. Feeney.
I got a little Dr. Phil on that one. It was less
Yeah.
Foxworthy, more
It's just
Dr.
a
Phil.
fine line.
Yeah. So you're doing Welcome Back, Kotter, a show that I absolutely hate.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, Cotter, I think
Can't do it.
I think we were kind of in the 95. We were in the kind of like Travolta's back.
Right.
This was like post Pulp Fiction,
Pulse, Look Who's Talking.
post Look Who's Talking.
Everyone gives Tarantino the credit, but it's Look Who's Talking.
Yes,
everyone.
it's whoever directed Look Who's
Amy
Talking.
Heckerling.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So I think like Travolta was back, and so I think Welcome Back, Cotter's reruns were having a little moment.
Yeah.
And I was into it. I don't know why. I was into Cotter. Yeah,
So
it's probably
dumb.
very bad.
Hey, Mr. Kotter.
I'm having a
Mr. Welcome Back, Kotter is an entire show of the puppy dog food scene from Out for Justice.
Yeah. You got any puppy food for the puppy?
Mr. Kotter, good puppy,
Oh,
puppy dog food.
He would love this food.
Yeah.
This is great for a puppy.
30 minutes of that.
That show was so horny for Travolta. Like
Oh, yeah.
the studio audience would just like shriek it let out a basement flooding
Yep.
shriek every time he walked into the
Up
classroom.
your nose with rubber hose. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Horshack, who is the reason why Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives is the best of the series.
Yes, that's a very good Horshack performance.
Has his heart ripped out
Ron
in the first 5
Palillo,
minutes.
right?
Ron Palillo.
I
Yep.
remember for a hot second, Ron Palillo was himself on Ellen.
Yes.
He was like some character's love interest, or he was like, "Oh, you're dating Ron Palillo."
Bring this full circle
Let's
here.
do.
Saved by the Bell. Screech.
Yep.
Celebrity Boxing.
Yep.
Fought Ron Palillo.
Really?
Yep.
Screech v. Horshack.
He beat the shit out of Ron Palillo.
Well, he's got to be 15 years younger than him.
And he took it real serious.
Screech is tall too.
And he
Screech
needed
probably
money.
had-
I think they got more money if they won.
That would be a fun. You know how there's like the small batch mystery pot. You know there was like
Yeah.
the Richard Simmons one. The sad tragedy of Screech would be a fun deep dive, wouldn't it?
It would be, but he'd be too into it.
Oh,
That's the problem.
Yeah, sure.
He wants that fame.
Part
still.
of the fun, maybe there's part of the fun would be him being reclusive and trying to
Yeah,
find him. But
no, he's chasing that Zach Morris dragon.
Sure, yeah, I know. Well, isn't there's a reboot coming on one of the streaming services,
It's a
right?
sequel series, yeah.
God, but
Matthew Cherry is directing one of the episodes.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, Screech will be all because he was in the new class. He was the only one from that was in the new
right.
class.
Yeah.
That's when it got a little bad. And then 9 o'clock. What are you doing?
9 o'clock for the rest of the night. We're watching Cool Runnings.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Yeah, I remember seeing that with my mom. Going to see that with my mom and her crying.
I really like that movie. I think I would be torn between Picket Fences and X Files.
Okay.
Which would be a tough call for me. But Cool Runnings is a great movie. I saw it in the theater and I loved Cool Runnings.
Yeah, me too.
It was a good flick.
Yeah, John Candy. Maybe that's John Candy's swan song. Isn't
No,
it?
his last movie.
Oh, is the Wagons East?
Wagons East.
Okay.
Canadian Bacon's his second to last
Canadian
movie,
Bacon.
which is the only, although people will argue this, the only fictional movie
Michael Moore.
Michael Moore did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, poor John Candy.
I know.
You ever see Only the Lonely?
Oh, Only the Lonely's great. Where
Such a
he
good
is it the soap opera one where he writes himself into the soap
No,
operas?
that's Delirious.
Delirious.
That's really funny.
What's Only the Lonely?
Only the Lonely, he plays a cop who's kind of a loser. He lives with his like overbearing Irish mother, and he starts dating Ali Sheedy, who's a mortician, and it's in Chicago, and
Right.
it's just kind of like this cute, sad, bittersweet love story, romantic comedy, and it's really great.
Aw.
And it's the kind of movie that I'm like, I want like. It's a tragedy that John Candy died, but it's also like I wanted more things like that from him.
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
he's
there
so
could have
good.
right. Candy could have had a little Bill Murray type resurgence where he
Easily.
was serio comic or
Like even Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Like he's heartbreaking in that.
know, it's so good.
And he would have been amazing. I mean, SCTV. There's John Candy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing this.
Thanks for
I'm
having me. This is a blast.
leaving you with a list of things.
Yeah, I have a notes app full of 90s schlock to revisit.
Yeah,
This
we'll
is
have to.
great.
I'll have to follow up. I need.
Yeah,
full
we should
reviews.
do this for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
I know. I'll report back from seeing the first 3 Seagal
Seagal
movies.
movies. Perfect. Pam Grier in one.
Oh, really?
So cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, baby, I see you in my TV set. Yeah, baby, I see you in my TV set. I cut your head off and put it in my TV set. I use your
There you go. That's Jordan. A lot of jerk off talk there. So I don't know if you're home alone and horny, but hopefully that helped you out. Because I'm not camming. I'm not going to do it. That's as much as you're getting. So if you want TV guidance counselor Ken Reed erotica, you're really going to have to pony up quite a lot of money for that, like at least $55. That's the floor. That's the floor. But that's what you're getting for free. So next week will be free still with another episode. So please be here then, and I'll see you again next time for a brand new edition of TV Guidance Counselor.
Boston guy who jacks you off while you're doing his podcast.
Dude, you want a hand doogie? That's what they call them.
Hand doogie.
Hand doogies.
I'll
yeah.
give you a doogie, dude,
Want a
while you're
fucking
doing my
doogie?
cast.
Yeah.